Okay, so you're listening because you want to get smart fast. That's the goal, right?
Absolutely. And today we've got something that fits right in.
We're doing a deep dive, yeah. Based on some really interesting audio we found from the English Leap podcast.
That's right. It's all about a language learning technique they call the shadowing trick.
The shadowing trick sounds a bit mysterious. Our mission today, folks, is basically to unpack that, figure out what it is, and crucially, how you can use it to, really boost your English speaking skills.
Exactly. We've pulled the key stuff from those podcast clips. The aim is to give you a clear, practical rundown of something that could genuinely speed up your fluency.
So this shadowing trick, it sounds almost too simple on the surface. Is there some hidden complexity? What's really going on?
Well, think of it like this. Active vocal mimicry. You hear a native English speaker and you immediately, right away, repeat what they're saying. You try to stick to their rhythm, their intonation, just like a shadow would.
Like a shadow, okay. The English Leap podcast folks use that analogy.
They did, yeah. And it really clicks. It's not about hitting pause, thinking, translating. It's that instant echo, real-time stuff.
Right. So you're not just letting the sound wash over you. You're actively doing something with it. How's that different from just, say, listening really carefully?
It's way more active. You're basically firing up your speaking muscles and your listening skills at the exact same time.
Yeah.
The podcast pointed out it's almost like you're living the language momentarily, not just processing it passively.
Living language, I like that.
Yeah, and it helps internalize the natural flow, the ups and downs, the pronunciation, all without getting totally bogged down in, complex grammar rules first.
Okay, but why? Why is that immediate repetition, that echo, so much better than just listening hard or maybe repeating after a pause?
That's the really fascinating bit. It taps into how our brains are wired for imitation. It's a very fundamental way we learn.
Like how kids pick up language.
Exactly. And the podcast made a great point. Actors actually use this technique, or something very similar, to nail accents.
No way, really? For accents?
Yeah. Which is, a pretty high-level linguistic skill. It shows how automatic and physical language can become when you practice it this way. If it works for professionals mastering tricky accents,
then it can probably help us with everyday fluency. Okay, that's compelling. I'm sold on the why. So for someone listening right now thinking, okay, I want to try this, what are the first practical steps?
The podcast laid it out pretty clearly. Yeah. First step, find some short audio clips. Don't go crazy.
The clips? Like what?
Could be anything, really.
Yeah.
A bit from a YouTube video you like, maybe a snippet from another podcast, even just a couple of lines from a movie scene. Keep it manageable. Short bursts.
Makes sense. Don't try shadowing a whole movie right away. What's next?
Okay, so grab some headphones. That helps you focus, really hear the nuances.
Got it. Headphones on.
Then, this is the key part. As you listen, you immediately repeat what you hear right away. Try your best to match their speed, their energy, their rhythm.
Immediately. So no pausing to think.
Nope. And don't stress about perfection, especially at first. The main goal initially is just keeping that flow going. Mimic the flow.
Flow over perfection. Okay.
Right.
So it's more about the rhythm and the music of the language than getting every single sound dead on.
Exactly. Particularly when you're starting out, just get the rhythm.
And how much practice are we talking? Is this hours a day?
No, not at all. The podcast recommended just 5 or 10 minutes a day. Seriously.
5 to 10 minutes. That's it.
Yep. Consistency is way more important than doing a marathon session once a week. Just that little bit every day. Focus on the rhythm, the intonation.
Small, consistent effort. Focusing on flow.
Got it. So if someone sticks with this, say, for a few weeks, what changes can they realistically expect to see or maybe feel?
Well, thinking about how language learning works, this kind of practice helps automate things. The podcast mentioned you'll likely notice you hesitate less when you speak.
Okay. Less pausing.
Yeah. And words might come to you a bit faster. Quicker recall.
Interesting. And this is a big one. You might actually start thinking in English more instead of always doing that mental translation from your native language.
Wow, okay. Thinking in English. That feels like a real milestone. That's huge. Did the podcast mention anything about other people noticing?
They did. They suggested you might even get comments, friends or colleagues might say, hey, your English sounds really good lately, or something like that.
Wait, where'd you learn to talk like that? Kind of thing.
Exactly. And that kind of outside feedback is super motivating.
Yeah.
It tells you it's actually working.
Definitely. Okay, the core message is pretty clear then. Give shadowing a try. If someone's listening and wants to start, like today, right after this, what's one simple first move?
The podcast had a nice tip. Pick someone whose voice or speaking style you actually like listening to.
Oh, like an actor or speaker they admire.
Yeah, exactly. Find clips of them speaking. It makes the practice less of a chore and more, well, engaging. You're mimicking someone you find interesting. Helps you connect with that natural rhythm they have.
I like that. Make it enjoyable. Find your voice crush and shadow them. Okay, good tip. So let's wrap this up. What's the big takeaway?
If we boil down what the English Lead podcast was getting at, it's this mantra. Practice like a shadow, speak like a star.
Practice like a shadow, speak like a star. Nice, catchy, powerful.
It captures the method and the potential outcome really well, I think.
Totally agree. And maybe here's a final thought for everyone listening to chew on. Think about those English speakers you really admire whose fluency just impresses you. Now consider this. What if actively trying to embody their speech, literally shadowing their sounds and rhythm, could unlock something deeper in your own learning? Something maybe more profound than just memorizing vocab lists or grammar charts. It's using your own voice, your own body as a direct tool for learning. Something to think about.